HarperCollins presents The Traitor's Gold by David Leadbeater, read by Damian Lynch. For my beautiful children, Kira and Meg, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you. Prologue. Gobi Desert, China, 1444. It reared up out of the sands, a wide, squat, ugly building that sat a long walk from the city. It comprised pillars of stone and stone cladding, its walls long and wide, its main front door a double leaf of carven oak that sat open day and night, except in the face of inclement weather. The sands that surrounded it were already trying to devour it, piled up high against the sides and drifting across the paths and settling on the roof. The desert was always swelling, expanding, enlarging like a living, breathing, greedy beast, Jin thought. One day it might reach Beijing, where it would overwhelm the newly built imperial residence, known as the Forbidden City. But Jin shrugged those dark thoughts away. He straightened his tunic, smoothing it down to his knees, and took a step forward. Then he froze. Was this the right thing to do? If he entered that building, he was committing a sin, breaking the law. No, he wasn't. The authorities had been forced to legalize gambling because of overwhelming demand. That was the only reason Jin stood outside its alluring doors right now. The bag he held nestled close to his right hip, and when he walked, Jin could hear the faint jangle of coins. He walked now, putting his fears firmly behind him, determined to enter the unadorned, unassuming, low-profile, shady and sultry, ensnaring, darkly powerful den of iniquitous entrapment. Jin stepped right up to the door before experiencing another rush of anxiety. Maybe this wasn't for him. Maybe, if he waited long enough, he might forget his money woes and wake up in another land, another realm, rich and unworried, fresh and clean. Someone pushed past to his right. Jin got a whiff of rich spices and body odor. The man's long hair looked lank. His shoes were full of holes. The gambling den ate him up like it would an unsuspecting tasty snack. Jin wondered if he was going to risk being next. No one was depending on him. Jin didn't have a family, a wife, or a son or daughter. He lived alone, eked out a living on the land, selling the fruits of his labors in a local town. He wasn't starving. He had enough money to clothe himself and furnish his home, but he wasn't happy with his existence. Jin wanted more. Hence the 3-day trip to the Gobi Desert. As he stood near the high doorway, almost standing in sin's gloomy embrace, something new enfolded Jin. It swept over him like a strange alien blanket. It was the din of conversation, of voices raised, some in anger, some in joy, of men, for it was only men in here, venting their emotions, speaking excitedly, asking questions. Jin found that the noise drew him in deeper still. Deeper and deeper, until he stood in the enormous room, wide-eyed, looking from left to right and up and down, overwhelmed, stunned, unable to process the enthusiastic peculiarity of what he was seeing. First, it was busy. Jin could barely see between bodies. There were many men in here, short, tall, fat, thin, those who stooped and those who had no control over their manners. Their outerwear was contradictory, from tunics short and long to jackets, some padded. Some wore hats. Some had great curling moustaches, others were clean-shaven. Jin saw immediately that there was a wide range of values in here. Some men were clearly wealthy, others without the means to buy shoes. Most of the men were standing around the few who were seated, but it was the seated ones that took Jin's interest. They were playing the games, and these games were the eyes of the storm, so to speak, the calm within the chaos. Everything came down to winning the games. Jin put one foot in front of the other until he came to a low table on which
Sample complete. Ready to continue?